Touch the leg. Welcome back to Tibet this week. We bring you news edition on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and the Central Tibetan Administration. Let us look at today's headlines. Sikyong addressed Tibetan communities in US and met with US high officials. Panelists raised grave human rights concern in Tibet in lead up to China's review by UN committee. Senator Janet Rice to join members of Australia's All-Parliamentary Group for Tibet's visit to Dharamshala in April. Second seminar on analyzing the Buddhist psychology held at Office of Tibet, Taiwan. Representative Genkhang meets MEPs Rasa, Jukneviciene and Isabel Santos. Japan-Tibet support group warns China not to interfere in Tibetan religious matters. Children in Tibet under People's Republic of China's colonial boarding system remembered at musical event in Dharamshala. On Wednesday last week, Sikyong of the Central Tibetan Administration met with Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi and Congressman Jim McGovern at the Capitol building. During the meeting, Sikyong provided updates about the situation inside Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Central Tibetan Administration plans to resolve the Tibet issue. Speaker Emerita Pelosi and Congressman McGovern assured Sikyong of their continuing support and discussed future plans of action. Sikyong also met with longtime Tibet supporter Congressman Christopher H. Smith, the incoming chair of Congressional Executive Commission on China. During the interaction, Sikyong mentioned enacting the bill that can encourage and serve as an example to the European Union countries in promoting a similar bill in their respective legislatures, while calling for possible hearings on Tibet at the Commission. Actor Richard Gere attended the meeting virtually while the representative Dr. Namgyal Chudup and ICT's interim president and vice president accompanied Sikyong in person. On Thursday last week, Sikyong met with the heads of the PRM and USAID, two of the largest sources of funding received by the Central Tibetan Administration for the implementation of political and welfare programs in exile. An in-depth discussion was held between Sikyong and the two to strategize future course of actions. In the afternoon, Sikyong presided over a discussion on Tibet and China at the Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies. Following his talk at CIS, Sikyong had a discussion about the situation and future policy of Tibet-China with the group of Chinese intellectuals, pro-democracy advocates, and students. After his conclusion of engagements in Washington, D.C., Sikyong departed for Denver, Colorado, where he was received by the president of the Regional Tibetan Associations and the Tibetan settlers in the city. Later that evening, Sikyong addressed the Tibetan community and students of the weekend class at the Tibetan Association's auditorium. Sikyong also interacted with a group of Tibetan youngsters to enlighten them about the core issue and the history of Tibet. After his Denver visit on Saturday last week, Sikyong left for Salt Lake City in Utah, where he was received by former Tibetan parliamentarian Pema Chowdhury, president of the Tibetan Association in Utah, and the Tibetan resident at the airport upon his arrival. Sikyong met and interacted with the Tibetan youths and addressed the public there. After concluding his engagements at Salt Lake City, Sikyong arrived in Portland on Sunday last week to a warm reception from President and Committee of North American Tibetan Association and Tibetan Community. Later that evening, the Portland local Tibetan community received Sikyong at the local Tibetan Association's Community Hall, followed by a visit to the weekend Tibetan school and interaction with the students and address to the youth. Sikyong arrived in Seattle on Monday evening at the Mount Lake Terrace Community Center, where he was received by the President and the Committee of the Tibetan Association and the Tibetan Community of Seattle. Sikyong delivered the public address and addressed the youth. Currently, Sikyong is in Canada for his official engagements and meeting the Tibetan community in Vancouver City. On Wednesday last week, representatives from Tibet groups discussed submissions on rights violations by China in Tibet to the UN Committee on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights in a virtual panel ahead of its 73rd session. China was one of the countries in that review. The panelists included Representative Tile Chuki of the Tibet Bureau, Geneva, Central Tibetan Administration spokesperson and DIR's Additional Secretary Tenzin Lekshe, Executive Director of International Campaign for Tibet Germany Kai Müller, and Tibet Advocacy Coalition's Coordinator Gloria Montgomery. The panel was moderated by the UN Advocacy Officer of the Tibet Bureau, Kalden Somo. The panelists spoke on a wide range of rights, abuses and repressions in Tibet by the Chinese government in the case of compulsory DNA collection of Tibetans, China's failed zero-COVID policy, issues of forced relocations, residential schools, persecution of Tibetan human rights defenders, and case of Tibetans dying in custody and shortly after being released from custody were raised amongst other issues in submissions. During the speech on foreign affairs at the Australian Parliament last Tuesday, Senator Janet Rice of the Australian Greens once again expressed her concern over the deteriorating state of human rights violations inside Tibet and oppression faced by the Tibetans.
In November last year, a group of UN Special Rapporteurs issued a statement noting their grave concerns. They said they have received information concerning what appears to amount to a policy of acculturation and assimilation of the Tibetan culture into the dominant Han Chinese minority through a series of oppressive actions against Tibetan educational, religious and linguistic institutions, in contradiction with the right to freedom of religion and belief, the right to education and cultural rights of the Tibetan people. And just yesterday, the UN Human Rights Commissioner issued a media statement noting their alarm at the separation of 1 million Tibetan children from families and forced assimilation at residential schools. And I continue to be extremely concerned about the disappearance of the Panchen Lama 28 years ago. Last year I introduced a motion to the notice paper calling for the Senate to only recognise a Dalai Lama appointed via Tibetan Buddhist traditions and practices without interference by the Chinese government.
She urged her government's intervention to address and protect the human rights violations in Tibet and elsewhere in the world. In a concluding speech, Senator Rice expressed her anticipation to visit Dharamshala in April and meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama along with members of Australia's All-Parliamentary Group for Tibet. On Saturday last week, the sequel of the last year's seminar analysing the correlation between the Tibetan Buddhism and psychology was held at the Office of Tibet in Taiwan in the presence of a special invitee guest, Dr. Chu Yan Wu, a renowned Taiwanese psychologist. Dr. Chu Yan Wu talked about the scientific study of the psychology and treatments for mental disorders during the seminar to a group of around 30 Chinese-speaking monks consisting of Tibetan abbots and geshes based in Taiwan. Representing the Buddhist scholars, the Buddhist teacher at the Office of Tibet, Venerable Geshe Tenzin Namdre, and the officer's former Buddhist teacher, Venerable Geshe Jambe Chunzin, each spoke on the Buddhist understanding of human psychology. Representative Kesa Geze Bawa appreciated the participants for their active engagements and lauded the participating psychologists for their excellent knowledge of Buddhist philosophies in his introductory remark. On Thursday last week, Representative Rinzi Chuden Genkhang of the Office of Tibet, Brussels, had a bilateral meeting with the members of the European Parliament, Rasa Jukneviciene, who also served as Minister of Defence of Lithuania. During the meeting, the two sides recalled Lithuania's special relationship with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the similar history and the fate the Lithuanians share with the Tibetan people. Representative Genkhang briefed MEP Jukneviciene on the dire situation in Tibet owing to the Chinese government's repressive and targeted policies aimed at the complete erasure of Tibetan identity. On Monday this week, Japan Tibet Support Group members passed a 5-point resolution in which, among other things, the members warned China not to interfere in Tibetan religious matters, including the selection of high Tibetan lamas, especially the reincarnation of the 14th Dalai Lama. The resolution also called for the immediate withdrawal of the forced indoctrination of Tibetan children in Chinese boarding schools. Representative Dr. Arya Tsawangebo spoke on the office activities and briefed the participants about the cultural revolution like atrocities and desecration of religious objects happening in Tibet. He appealed to the lawmakers and members to be more vocal on the human rights violation, religious persecutions and elimination of Tibetan identity taking place in Tibet. The Safe Tibet Network and the Tibetan community in Japan jointly organized the online support groups annual meeting in which 10 major support groups and 28 people participated, including guest participants from the national and local lawmakers and the representative and staff of the Tibet House, Japan. On Tuesday this week, Kalun Domageri of the Department of Security attended a musical event to celebrate the 1 Billion Rising event organized by Jagori Rural Charitable Trust held at the auditorium of Dharamshala Government College. Kalun Domageri, who was the chief guest, in a keynote address extolled Jagori Rural Charitable Trust for its positive contribution to the growth and development of society. Meanwhile, Kalun reminded the gathering of the prevailing grim situation inside Tibet as she detailed the brutality and unceasing repression Tibetans go through in Tibet. She raised concerns about the recent development taking place in Tibet vis-a-vis the implementation of the mandatory colonial boarding school system, a program that is practiced to deliberately uproot Tibetan children from their cultural heritage and assimilate them into the dominant Han culture. The 1 Billion Rising is a global campaign founded by Eve Ensler to end violence against women. That is all for this week's news edition on Tibet This Week. Thank you for watching Tibettv.